It sounds loud. I'd like to call this meeting to order. This meeting of Monday, November 22nd, of the Nacogdoches Historic Landmark Preservation Committee. And the first thing we need to do is approve the minutes of our meeting from November the 1st, 2021. Have we all had a chance to read the minutes? And are they okay?
Yes. Yes.
Do I hear a motion?
I so move.
Thank you. Do I hear a second?
I second it.
Thank you. All in favor state aye, please.
Aye.
Okay, we approve those minutes. Now we have a consent agenda, and we have 16 COAs, which we could go through one by one. However, I'm sure you've all had a chance to look at them. And are there any of the COAs that we need to pull out and look at or talk about separately? All righty. Then, do I need to do?
You
Yes.
just need a motion for
Yes.
approval of the consent
Okay,
agenda.
I need a motion that we will consider all the consent agenda as a whole, all 16. Do I hear that motion?
I move that we accept all of the COAs.
Thank you. And do I hear a second?
Second.
All in favor state aye, please.
Aye.
Opposed? I just sat here. Okay, now we are into our regular agenda. And the first thing on our agenda is consider the HRG extension for property located at 330 East Main Street, HRG number 2020-005.
Yes, Chairman, as you said, this is HRG 2020-005 for 330 East Main Street. The applicant had been awarded 16.8% of the final project cost not to exceed $30,150. They were granted one extension on October 5th of 2020, and that extension was due to expire October 28th, 2021. And just because of timing, that's the reason these dates don't quite match up. But that extension request was received before the deadline, and staff brought this before you at that following meeting. Hlpc asked for a status update. You were looking for what types of projects, if anything, had been done, sort of a status from the applicant. And Hannah, before she left, and then Jessica, after she arrived, reached out via email and phone to the applicant. And as of 3 o'clock today, we had not received a response. Chairman?
Well, we need to talk about this because we did request that the applicant send us either information on her plans or some sort of indication that work had been done toward this. And you haven't received the proper?
No, we have not. We haven't received any other correspondence.
And no drawings were ever submitted,
No, ma'am.
correct?
This is tying up an awful lot of our money. And the person can reapply next year. And then I really think that it's inconsiderate of them to tie up our money like this, and I think that we should move on.
Yes, I second that.
Do I hear a motion?
Yes, I second.
It would need to be a motion to deny the
To
extension.
deny the extension.
Yes, ma'am.
That was my moving on.
Just for our minute purposes, I needed to make sure that was the motion you were asking.
Do I hear a motion?
Yes, I move that we discontinue the grant and have them reapply.
Thank you. Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
Thank you. All in favor state aye, please.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Yeah, and they can reapply. So it's not catastrophic in their world, or it shouldn't be. Okay. I've got too many pages here. I can't even find it. What's next?
It's COA 2021-011 for the property on Virginia Avenue with Shannon Abear as the owner.
Oh, right.
They're requesting 3 items. The first is replace existing wood retaining wall with a stone retaining wall.
Yes.
There, it's that picture right there that's in your packet. And then replace rotten decking on existing front porch, which I just had those backwards, I apologize. And then construct a deck connecting the front and side decks made from PVC lumber on top of the retaining wall. So that would be connecting these two items. So these are all in place. The real difference is going from a wooden retaining wall to a stone, and then going from wood to a PVC or a composite lumber decking. Those are the two items that you're looking at.
Okay. Do we have the applicant here, or,
If there are
If they are-
heads shaking yes, then yes. There are a number of people behind me, so I'm not sure.
okay. Do we have any questions for the applicants? It seems pretty straightforward. No questions? Okay, do I hear a motion to accept this?
I'll make a motion that we accept HRG 2021-00-011. Is that the,
And that would be COA case
COA.
2021.
Right,
thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
all righty. And do I hear a second?
Yes, I second that.
Thank you. All in favor state aye, please.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? And that's in my neighborhood, so,
It is.
yes, it is. All right, I like to see things in my neighborhood. I'm sorry, I've got so much paper here, I can't stand it. All right, now on the agenda, we have the building at 110 South Pecan, Helena Ramirez, the certificate of appropriateness, COA 2021-030.
Yes, ma'am. There are three items on this request. The first one is ordinary maintenance, but it's part of a bigger request. And the ordinary maintenance item is repainting the top and bottom of an existing awning black. I mean, the color is kind of indifferent since we don't regulate color. But that would be an ordinary maintenance item, so that's not, it's part of your packet, but it's not really what you're considering today. And then the two items that you do need to consider are regrouting the exterior brick with white grout. It does say in your packet German schmear, but what they're requesting is the grout only, not actual material placed on the face of the brick. And so you can see in the side of your picture that the adjoining building has the white grout. And in conversations with Jessica Sal, the applicant said that that was what they were shooting for. And then the other item is replacing all of the front plate glass windows with divided opening windows. It says see example. So the example would be, so there's the grout. Is to do a divided light similar to this. The applicant did not say that this is the window that I'm going with, but it gives you an idea that this is the divided light versus the plate glass windows.
How does that window in the illustration, how does that even open?
The one, yes, ma'am,
Yeah.
that is correct. The blue window
Oh,
is one that can roll up. So the request is so that they can have airflow through the building. It would be the transom windows above and the windows below.
have they considered, making the transoms openable, since transoms traditionally are openable?
That would be a question for the applicant who is here. And
Okay.
Absolutely. That's part of the package, all openable, all windows. Yes, you are.
only so we can record you.
Yes.
Absolutely. We have requested, hello, Elena Ramirez, everybody.
Come,
Hello,
state your
everybody.
name.
What you're seeing on the windows, not the windows on the door, but the two big windows, it's gonna have 6 panels and they'll open up. They'll open up towards Main Street, so out to outside, and it's only no more than 6 inches as it opens. And the ones at the top can also open up is what the request is, excuse me. And so this was just more of a picture to see how the windows would split. We have it part of the package where it has, I'm gonna try to see in my paperwork here. You can see that the windows will be split. So this big one is the big windows on our front building. It'll open up in 6 different panels. And the ones at the top, they just have them split because they're 2 different sizes. They just split in 2 different ways. So one big panel currently now with just 2 split. So where it just kind of looks like the current picture. So the three at the top are the two that I'm looking at right now. They'll only have it'll make it look like there's two frames. So they'll just open up a little bit, and then the big panels, that'll open up to the 6 different panels. They can't make it all open with one big panel like that,
Right.
so they're trying to break down the frame.
I think we need to question this. I honestly do. I think that opening the transoms would be perfect. I mean, but I'm questioning changing the large, because this has been very different things, but mainly it has been a retail establishment. And I think if there's some way to maintain those large glass storefront windows, that's what we should aim for. Opening the transoms wouldn't give enough air.
I would say, speaking to the glass company, I got 2 different quotes. One where all the windows could be opened up, and then I have a quote where the ones at the tops don't open up because it's kind of unrealistic for us to be able to crawl up there to get it. We can do it, of course.
But there's hardware that,
Absolutely, yes,
Yeah.
ma'am. But the one thing with the ones at the bottom, I would say more realistic for that we can open. It's, a very tall building, and it's only 1 floor. I would see with a lot of the buildings downtown, just to provide a little argument with you on the opening of the windows, there's lots of big storefront buildings that are cut off in the windows. It's not just one big panel. There's many, many storefronts that have that little blocked off, I don't know, smaller frame look.
is Perky still?
I know,
Which is-
Perky Brown.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, Perky,
Oh.
I'd like to hear your thoughts on this.
Well, I'm looking at this, and this is a building that's been restored very accurately to its time period, which is that single large plate glass window. And while other buildings have had different histories, this one is very correct and very significant and very accurate. So while I could probably be swayed for moving the making the transoms functional opening windows, subdividing the look would very much alter the facade of this building, in my opinion.
I do too. Gretchen, do you have thoughts?
I'm just wondering why you want to open the windows.
We're a workout facility, so to be able to, for the airflow, to go in. I mean,
Because it
even if
says
you.
stretch ER.
Yes, ma'am, we're a Pilates studio. We do, we have 31 Pilates classes a week, and we do fascial stretch therapy, massage, and Reiki work.
Okay.
Which we
'Cause
bought this
most
building.
people in East Texas in the spring, summer, and fall try to keep the air conditioning inside the building. So,
I can understand the need for the fresh air.
Yeah.
However, I just,
Even with comparison to buildings that have already been restored downtown, even if you drive down Main Street, I see lots of buildings with different looking glass that is not,
but
of the
different
old
buildings have
19
different histories
Mhm,
also.
Absolutely.
And this one's restored to original.
Yes, we've done lots of good work on that restoring.
I'm at a loss, Brian. I feel like the whole idea behind historic buildings being saved is that they are adaptable enough that they can suit modern needs.
Absolutely.
However, we have to have a balance. So
So Chairman, you're not really considering whether window opens or not. So that's not something that you should really be considering, because the function of the window is not the issue from a preservation standpoint.
right.
It's whether you're looking at a plate glass or a divided glass, and that's really your only point of consideration. The applicant could be coming forward and saying, I would like to put in 4 panes that are still fixed, and you have the same
The same
consideration,
problem.
whether it's 4 panes that are,
Yeah, I needed
functional
that
and open.
clarification, yeah.
because it's not the operation of
So
the
it's
window.
not the operational,
It's the aesthetic.
You're
part of
looking
it,
at the
but
style of the
look,
building
yeah.
and whether plate glass or divided glass is the most appropriate for this particular building.
Right.
And then in terms of, and you referenced it, Chairman, earlier, that every building is different. Some buildings have divided glass, and that's what's appropriate for that building. Some have plate glass, and that's what's appropriate for that building. So your consideration is what is appropriate for this particular building.
So I think that having the transoms operational, it wouldn't affect the look of them, and you would have the function. I think that we could agree to, say, go do that, but I'm just, the divided light is
To,
making me hesitate.
help you with that separation, the ones at the top would also have to be separated into two panes
Oh,
to
they
make
would.
them open. Yes, ma'am.
The only option, I guess, that I can even, and I hate to suggest it because I really don't even like it, is that if you used your roll-up window in lieu of the two main doors and save the doors for.
There is no roll-up window. All the windows are gonna have those panes where
Yeah,
they
I know,
open.
I'm saying
Oh,
the only
okay, yes, ma'am.
alternate that I would say, I think we should even think about, and I'm not 100% in favor of it, is to let you have the two doors, and that becomes your roll-up door.
I'm having a hard time understanding. What do you mean, the two doors?
The two operable doors.
Okay, yes, ma'am. My doors, okay, the
Yes,
doors, okay.
those could become your roll-up, and you could keep it open, but the plate glass windows stay as they are. That way, the doors could be saved and utilized to return it to its original look.
This building has a steel door frame. So you see the door frame that you're looking
And
at?
opening those doors doesn't give you enough airflow?
Yeah, that's true, that would be even less expensive.
I would like more airflow,
Yeah, well,
especially during this time frame.
I just,
So y'all aren't more on the favor of, because I will always keep pushing, because I'm gonna have this building forever and ever. So you'll always see my face. But is it more the look, that the panes?
Yes,
Just
yes.
specifically for
Because
this
it's
one?
changing the whole flavor of the front. It's changing. Yeah.
Divided panes are not historically accurate to a commercial, single block, building of this time frame and this style.
Exactly.
And that's it. And so while alterations for continued use are good, and as the chair said, make buildings functional in a now the 21st century, having a non-appropriate historic look that would result from a divided panes isn't acceptable, in my opinion.
So I will never be able to have windows that open just because the company told me that I can't have panes. How big these windows are, they have to have a different frame to where they're able to open. Per East Texas Glass.
I'm just at a loss. I feel like we're at a standstill here. And, I think that your painting, your grouting, that's all fine. And if, I don't know, Brian, I need guidance.
Sorry, Chairman, I was trying to do some math. I apologize. I'm a history person. Math takes Jessica and I a long time. Yes, ma'am, what can I answer for you?
I think we are opposed to this. And first off, all historic committees, our duty sometimes is not pleasant, but still, we're not the big bad people. We do want people to be able to use their buildings the way they want to use them, and the buildings stay as original as possible. And so I'm at a loss. I feel like we need to deny that part of, and maybe there's some alternative that we haven't thought of. I don't know.
So, Chairman, there is nothing keeping an applicant for coming back with a different proposal.
That's
The
fine.
applicant can come back, she can come back in 2 months with the exact same proposal.
That's
So
fine.
there's nothing stopping the applicant from coming back with alterations in the future.
Okay,
Based on just your feedback, not a recommendation, just based on your
Right.
feedback. If you were to deny an item, you just need to make a motion that we approve A and B items and spell them out, and deny C item per the application, because there's 3 items on that application. The painting, you don't really have to approve, they could do the painting, in 5 minutes, and that's fine.
right.
But since it's on the application, go ahead and you would motion to approve that one, approve the grout, and then deny the windows.
Well, I feel like we're all of the same mind, so.
Can I ask a question, ladies?
Yes, please.
What can I do to the windows where this board, do y'all find it appropriate where I can have a change to my window? Because if I am denied, therefore, what can I do that will make y'all happy? Or maybe another suggestion that you can give somebody that's in my place where they can do something to these beautiful buildings we're trying to preserve.
Maybe a different building.
Oh, no, ma'am, I bought this building. I'll be here forever.
I'm kidding. I'm sorry.
If there's a way that aesthetically it could look like this and be operable, it's just gonna cost you a lot of money. I mean, that's fact, to make them operable. I just don't see any way out of it to make them operable, because it's custom. It would have to be custom.
Yeah, that's my whole packet. I
Well,
did make
but
it
that's
custom,
not-
yeah.
It's a standard custom. I'm talking about serious custom.
Serious
I'm
custom.
talking about glass, seamless glass that's operable, would have to open in and out. And then you'd have some serious issues with locks. Secure it.
Oh, I think we need a motion. Thank you
Okay.
so much for speaking, and,
What about for having them all glass? Can I get that approved for them to all be glass? Because I have a quote for that. It's the same thing where they're all the just closed up windows, just how they look right now.
I'm sorry, I don't quite understand
So,
all glass.
glass that looks exactly how the windows are, no change. It is just glass exactly what it looks like right now in the building. So it's just replacing the glass.
And how would that make it,
Oh, there's scratches all over this. These are
I
very
see.
old windows. Yes, we need new windows very bad.
oh,
And
that's,
Chairman, that's ordinary maintenance, and
that's
that
ordinary
doesn't,
maintenance.
Yeah.
You wouldn't even need a COA for that.
Okay.
Okay, all right, thank you so much.
So we can do the motion.
We need to do a motion to, I need to hear a motion for approving the first and the second.
Okay, so I make a motion that we accept 1 and 2, which is the painting and the grouting of the building, but decline the operable roller door.
Okay. Do I hear a second?
I second it.
All in favor state aye, please. Aye.
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 Opposed? Okay, thank you very much. And now on to the budget.
and Chairman, I'm gonna take a moment here before
Yes,
Jessica comes up to
please.
present that. That item that you just heard was part of a historic restoration grant request. And so what staff would like to ask of you this evening is to approve the percentages that we have, and then tomorrow, since the applicant said that they already have a cost for the plate glass windows, we can secure that plate glass window cost and supplant that with the cost of the operable windows.
Okay.
And so I'm assuming that it's a lower cost.
Yes, it is.
right now, I'll bring it to you, And so I just don't have the Excel sheet, but I'll get it tomorrow. So the percentage that she's gonna see is the same, but the dollar amount would change.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yes,
Okay,
it
so-
does, yes.
So what we would be asking you this evening, if you approve, is to approve it as presented, knowing that staff are gonna make that change with your blessing to a lower cost than what is presented
Yes.
for that one applicant. Everything else would remain the same.
And should we be looking at the total available funds of the 89,000 as opposed to the 59,000?
85,000 or
No, I was talking about since we have denied the,
Oh, that first one.
yeah,
Y'all are gonna be looking at, option 2.
good.
Perfect. So, this agenda item D is for y'all to discuss and consider your budget for the 2022 Historic Restoration Grant Cycle. So what we do is we take the total available funds, which is from our hotel motel occupancy tax, we get $25,000 every year. And then, of course, for people who default, that money gets added right back into our total cost. And so this year, with the denial of the extension a minute ago, we had $88,751.22 to allocate to grant funds for this fiscal year. We had a lot of applications this year, which is great.
It's wonderful.
We heard from quite a few people, they were having a hard time getting contractors and materials, and so Brian and I had decided to extend our grant application period. So instead of 1 month, they had 2 months to get all the bids together, which is great, but also ended up having 18 grant applications, which is wonderful. And so what we did is we went through each application, and there's a scoring criteria. It's based on things like, is this a public building? Has this person applied for grant money in the past and received it? Have they been successful or have they defaulted? How old is the building? Is it in imminent danger? Another thing that ranks very highly is it a vacant building that can now be occupied if they do this work? Because that's what we want, is these vacant buildings to get fixed up and occupied. So we went through, did the total project estimate for each one, graded all of them on the scoring criteria, and then assigned a percentage to different categories. It's a Excel sheet that nearly made my eyes bleed a few times, but we pulled it all together. So it's ranked from like 0 to 15, I believe, gets a certain percentage, and then so on and so forth. So you can see the entire Excel sheet here. The average per project, based on this Excel sheet, is a little over $7,000. We didn't put applicant names or anything like that on here because what all we're looking at is, the work done to certain buildings. You can see a project description, project estimates, and then the addresses. And of course, these are all buildings that you approve the work in our first item on this agenda. And so this is what we've done. We ended up with about $1,000 left over just because there was no way to evenly divide it with our percentages. So we've allocated almost every dime we have in this. And of course, it's always a fluctuating number that how many people finish their projects, how many people default or decide to pull their project as well. But this is the budget that we've put in place for this upcoming fiscal year.
Okay, this is wonderful. All right. Do I hear a motion with the addition of the fact that the numbers will fluctuate a bit, but I don't know how to word this.
You can make a motion to approve or deny the budget for the 2022 grant cycle.
Okay.
Okay.
Let's just make a motion to approve the 2020 grant cycle, and the numbers will be a little bit different, but anyway.
Well, I so move. Do we approve this budget?
Thank you. Do I hear a second?
I second that motion.
Thank you very much. All in favor state aye, please.
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right. That's wonderful that we've got so many applications.
Absolutely.
We're saving these old places.
We are. And one note on this, and this is more for the benefit of everybody sitting in the audience, your recommendation in this budget will go before City Council on December 7th. Isn't that right? 7th. I keep saying 6th, and it's stuck in my brain now. So this will go to City Council on December 7th. They will, in all likelihood, approve this, and then we can start allocating money once those grants have been completed and turned back into us. So we'll have one more hearing on this.
I noticed there were a lot of roofs that need replacing
yes.
or fixing.
There are,
The
yes.
wind has been tough this year.
Absolutely.
And Chairman, I know you
Yes.
noted that there would be changes to that. There's only going to be a change on one line item.
Okay, only one line item.
And that was the one request for the windows. That is the only item on that list that will be altered from what you have in front of you. And that will be
Okay.
a lower cost versus a higher cost.
All righty. We are adjourned.